Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to One Piece, episodes 801 to 804. So for those of you who might be watching this somewhere down the road or whatnot, this is part of One Piece Week, an entire week dedicated to One Piece-based videos, with one exception, but that being the ongoing daily upload of Pokemon Crystal Nuzlocke, but everything else this week is all One Piece. So yeah, we have episodes 801 to 804, just continuing on with Whole Cake Island. So a few things to talk about from last time and where we left off, from what I remember of everything. So on the side of Germa 66, we have Sanji kind of reuniting with his entire family. The other two brothers have returned from Brock Kali Island and are just being as much of assholes as Yanji is. And even though Reiju's nicer about it, she's still extremely terrible. But yeah, one of the brothers didn't like his food, I guess, or he didn't even try it, but he threw it at the chef, this young girl, and Sanji took offense to that. Not only because he was going to waste food, which Sanji, as we know, is very much against, but also because he was throwing the food and he was going to hurt this poor girl. And the girl was going to take it. She was standing there. She was ready to take it because that's what she's been brought up to believe by Germa 66, that just kind of thing happens. I mean, we already saw it with the fight, excuse me, between Sanji and his father, Vinsmoke Judge. Judge had those other members of Germa 66 come forth and act as human shields, one of which even allowed himself to be blatantly impaled to death by Judge. And it's like, holy shit. And it's like, that's really fucked up. And I've talked about that already, still. So yeah, Sanji's having to deal with his extremely shitty family. Meanwhile, our heroes are facing down the forces of Charlotte Brûlée and Charlotte Cracker. We haven't seen Brûlée for a couple episodes because she was kind of knocked into her mirror by Nami, zapped with the Climatact and everything. And we haven't seen her for a couple episodes. It's mostly been focusing on Luffy's fight with Cracker, who, as we find out, wasn't who we thought he was. He was using these biscuit warriors, which are basically just using his biscuit devil fruit, which is really unique, by the way, really interesting, to create this armor of sorts, which he used to fight Luffy. And because apparently he doesn't like pain, according to what he said, so he literally is very fragile. And I kind of talked about that, how I was thinking like, oh, he's a cracker, so is he just really fragile if he actually gets hit? And kind of, I was kind of right with that, though not quite in the way I expected. Meanwhile, Carrot and Chopper are still trapped in Brûlée's mirror dimension, so I wonder what we're going to get with that. So yeah, I don't know what is going to happen in these 4 episodes here. And you may be wondering about something as well. You may have, I talked about before how I was like, oh, I'm doing 4 episodes for this part, but it's probably not going to continue to be. But then now this episode is like, oh, it's 4 more, or this reaction video is now like, oh, 4 more episodes. And it's like, well, I thought that it's like, I could do 4 episodes at once because, let's be honest, a lot of the episode is regarded as just like recap and everything. So it's not too hard to do 4 episodes in one video. And normally I won't be doing like a butt ton of these reactions for One Piece every week. Like most, I'd probably do 1 normally, but it's One Piece week. It's a special occasion. So it's like, yeah, I can handle 4 episodes in one video. Plus, it'll help get caught up a little quicker than 1, 2, or 3 per video. So yeah. I don't know what is going to happen in these episodes. I don't know if it's going to be solely focused on Luffy versus Cracker, how much we're going to get of Brûlée or Carrot and Chopper. I don't know if we're going to go back to more stuff with Brooke and Pedro and their journey sneaking in by using one of the Biscuit Warriors. I don't know. Uh, there's a bunch of other stuff we're going to see. We're definitely going to see more of Sanji and his family, of course, but I guess we'll just have to find out. So, that being said, let's get this going. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow a link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I'm going to say right off the bat, I'm not going to really be talking much of anything about Luffy and Nami versus Cracker and all, because there's not much to talk about. I like that Nami chose to stand up for Luffy and give him some time to recover and everything, and that she was willing to fight too, even though she obviously knew she stood no chance. But there really wasn't much to talk about with that entire scenario. Not too much going on that was, I would say, really important to discuss here. Everything that was important was with Sanji's side of things, with Jerma 66. And God, were these episodes important. Like, for a long time, this was the biggest question. How did Sanji end up on that ship as an apprentice chef? Who is his real family? What led to that event where he was marooned on that island with Zeph and everything? How did he get there? And now we know the backstory. Sanji and his siblings were genetically engineered at birth, probably while their mother was still pregnant with them. Even they were genetically engineered to be superhumans, to be stronger than normal, to have these abilities and these strengths and these durabilities. They were engineered because of Judge's desire to make Jerma 66 this military superpower, this might, this extreme force of strength. And at some point, their mother got ill and died. We don't have all the details behind it. We don't know why she was sick, how she got sick, if Judge had anything to do with it, or like when exactly she died and how she died. Or like there's a possibility, I hate to say it, that it was maybe from Sanji's cooking. Because it was clearly terrible, and she was only saying it was good because she loved him and she wanted to support him and everything. But yeah. But yeah, she died, and that led to things getting even worse, to the point where Sanji was just deemed irredeemable. He was deemed completely worthless and weak and just a waste of space. Judge was so like upset by this simply because of the reason that he couldn't become a genetically engineered trained warrior child to him like the others. And so he imprisoned Sanji, believing that as his father he couldn't just outright kill him personally, but that he didn't care about him anymore and just wanted him to go away. So he imprisoned him. And eventually, with the help of Reiju, who, as we found out, really does care and love Sanji, care for and love Sanji, but has been hiding a lot of that just because she is afraid as well. She helps him escape, and eventually Judge finds out, and he just lets him go, not out of kindness, but because he thinks that Sanji will go off and die, and thinks that that's honestly preferable. It's really fucked up. And so we saw that Reiju helped him get onto that boat, the boat where he was an apprentice on. These episodes did a lot. Not only humanizing, characterizing Sanji even better than he already was at this point, and completely, in my eyes, invalidating anyone's argument that Sanji could be seen as a bad character just because he's perverted. It's like, yeah, he's a little annoying. Even Nami admitted that. Yeah, he's a pervert. He's a pervert, and he's a bit annoying, but we still love him, and we protect him to our last breath and all. And it's like, good, that's awesome. And yeah, but at this point, with everything we've gotten with him, it's just like I cannot in any way see him as anything but an amazing character in this series. But these episodes also showed us his mother for the first time. We finally got to meet Sanji's mother. We don't know her name yet because that was actually hidden on the grave behind some like plants or whatever. So we actually do not know her name. So at this point, she's basically just Sanji's mom. Um, but she was extremely nice. Sanji apparently got his entire personality, his kindness, his desire to cook and to uh, serve others from her. And if she was like that, I would have to think that maybe Judge did have something to do with her death, with her becoming ill. I really hate to think about it that way, but I really think that might be the case. And which would make him just even more irredeemable and just evil and disgusting. So we finally got to see Sanji's mother, and the other big thing is obviously, like I talked about already, finding out that Reiju isn't bad like everyone else. That like Sanji, she has emotion. She can care about and love people, but that she pretends to go along with everyone else because she's afraid too. And we got the glimpse of that in these episodes where we saw her like clearly upset at what was going on, but then she looked to her brothers, saw them laughing, and started laughing too. And it's like clearly that reaction was not meant to like be subtle. It was meant to show like, oh, there's something more with her about this. And so that's why she's been so nice to him after he's come back compared to his brothers. She actually does care. And hell, she's probably upset that he's back because you could clearly tell in the flashback there she wanted him to go and never return. She wanted him to get out, to get to safety, something she and the others could never do. Because she was afraid and the others were just too brainwashed at that point. And I really, really hope she ends up helping him in the current day. It would just that she goes against this fear that she's had this entire time and ends up helping. Now we did get to see a little bit of Chopper and Carrot in the mirror dimension as well. Just going around checking different mirrors. We didn't get too much with it, but we did get to see a little bit. We saw Brule as well again. She's planning on getting her revenge. We even saw a little glimpse at Big Mom at one point. But yeah, the big stuff was definitely during Sanji's part. We also learned that Jerma 66's soldiers are genetically engineered, that they are clones created from just a few top notch soldiers. These few top notch soldiers had been cloned over and over again. And I couldn't help but think of Star Wars, honestly, like just this clone army. It's a literal clone army. And they're cloned from these very talented individuals, just like the clones were in Star Wars. So it's like, oh, okay. I don't know if Oda meant it as a reference to that or not, or if it's just kind of a funny coincidence. But it's just like it's there. It's clearly there. Um, but yeah, that's super fucked up, and that explains so much. I was wondering why those soldiers would just stand in Judge's way, and why one of them would just die like that, like offer up his life as a human meat shield. But they were literally engineered to be able to think like that. They don't know they're clones either. They have no clue about that. But they were genetically engineered to be so subservient. It's ridiculous. It's so fucked up. And then there's Cosette. Um, I'll be honest, a lot of times this show, like when it introduces a really like cute or well-designed character, I just like fall in love with them really quickly. Where it's just like, oh, they're like this character's really cute or really well designed or they're really sweet, their personality's great and stuff. And it's like I just really easily fall in love with them as a character, even if they're a minor character, all things considered. I don't think Cosette's going to be a big character going forward. She'll probably be shown again, but I don't think she'll be a major character in any way, shape, or form. Um, but it's just like I just care about her. Not necessarily fully in the same way Sanji does, but kind of. It's just like you want to protect her. She's so cute, so innocent, so horrified and scared of this family, and it's just like you want to see her be safe because she's just so nice. Yeah, you're like, yeah, she doesn't have a lot to her character. There isn't a lot to her, but just the little bit they give to her, the characterization they give to her, and just seeing Sanji, of course, defend her such a way and everything, and then afterwards seeing her like so brutally beat up by Niji. Is it Niji? I get Niji and Ichiji mixed up. I think it's Niji, but it's so fucked up. It's so fucked up, and it hurts to see because she's so nice, so like caring, such a great personality, and but yet so frightened by them. And it's like, and it would be the case with anyone in that situation. It's like it would just be hard to see something like that, hard to like not be upset by something like that. No matter what the character looked like or what the character like, if they were male, female, or otherwise, or whatever. That's not even the important thing. It's not just because she's a cute girl. If that happening to anyone is horrible. I mean, happening to Sanji is horrible. So it's like Oda is really hammering in how fucked up the Vinsmoke family of Jerema 66 are. He's really making this like just making a very heavy point of it. And Oda does that. This is not anything new for the series. He's done this many times. He'll very clearly point out how despicable someone is over and over again. He did this with Kuro in the Syrup Village arc. He did this with Don Krieg. He did this with Crocodile. Over and over again, Oda shows like if he wants you to hate a character, he will make sure you hate a character. Or even in this case, an entire family, pretty much. But it'll also show you that if there's a character you're supposed to sympathize with or identify with or even understand, that he's going to make you feel that too. He does not go subtle in how he characterizes and showcases characters and their motivations, their actions, etc., etc. He doesn't go subtle in that. Nothing is subtle about it. And I like that. Some people might think it's a little too heavy-handed. Some people might think it's a little too much, like that he should be more subtle about it. But the thing is that in real life, it's not always subtle. There are people who are honestly cartoonishly evil in real life. Whether it's by racism, whether it's by classism, or sexism, or whatever else, all kinds of things like that. There are people in real life who are so ridiculously cartoonishly evil, it doesn't seem realistic. But it is. That's the thing. It's like there are people that like that exist and have forever. And always, there always unfortunately will be. So I actually like seeing characters like that, but I do like seeing characters who are a little more subtle with it and have a little more nuance. I like seeing both because I feel like both are perfectly valid as villains. Not every character has to be so cartoonishly over the top evil, but not everyone has to be so subtle and nuanced about it. It's like you can have both. And I think Oda, again, with his just masterful character design and everything in this series, it's like he's perfected that. the ability to have characters that are nuanced, but also have characters who are just over the top. So yeah. Um, either way, either way, I really fucking enjoyed these episodes. They were hard to watch because of how horrible and fucked up all of this was. But I did really enjoy them. They gave so much more context, so much more backstory, so much more just explanation for why things are the way they are. I mean, hell, we know now why Sanji is so into cooking. I mean, yeah, he was kind of into it before, but the real reason he's so invested in cooking, into becoming a chef, hell, in a way, in even his dream of finding the all blue, it all comes back to his mother and his genuine love for his mother, because his mother was actually a genuinely good person, unlike his father. Um, it just it gives us so much big important information. And it's like I've heard people talk about how this arc, the Whole Cake Island arc, is one of the best in the show by far. And I see it. I don't know where I'd rank it necessarily, but I can definitely agree that this is one of the best. And I would put it, at least as of where I am currently, I would put it probably in my top five. But I can't judge it based on just where I am because there's still so much more to go. Now, total, I think this arc ends somewhere in the 870s, 880s, somewhere like that. So there's still quite a lot to go, obviously. But it's not as long as some arcs, like the Dressrosa arc, which was obnoxiously long. Like, I love the Dressrosa arc, but it was way too long. um, it's the longest arc in the series, up to current at least. But yeah, it's like there's a lot still to go with this, so I definitely can't judge the arc based only on what we've seen so far. There's still so much more. Um, so yeah, I'm very, very excited. Like I talked about it before, but I'm not. I'm like I've become more into One Piece than ever. I've like gotten super into it again, and it's like this just keeps it making me even more and more invested and more loving this series. One Piece is by far one of my all-time favorite shows, not just anime, one of my all-time favorite shows, and I'd say just in general one of my all-time favorite pieces of media overall. From the shows, the movies, the games, everything. And it's like I just can't wait to see so much more, to see everywhere this is going to go. So tell me in the comments below what you thought of these episodes. What did you think about finally meeting Sanji's mother? What do you think about how completely fucked up everything with Jerema 66 and the Vinsmoke family is? What do you think about Reiju being revealed as being a kind-hearted, good person as well? And just everything else that's going on. Tell me your thoughts down in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See you all next time.